everybody. Good morning. I pray you all are blessed and highly favored. Today I am rocking, this is Lady Flint's fashion. So I am rocking the newest material. All of the newspaper with the shoes, the earrings, and the bling blings for your things. You know what I'm saying? And my bracelets. Y'all got that? Let me just stand up and just give y'all a whirlwind. That's it, baby. Love you guys. Mwah. Blessings. Hello, everybody. Good morning. And today we are blessed. Y'all. I have the queen who has done it all, said it all, and she's still doing it all. Welcome to Lady Flint Show, the next installments. Thank you, Diaspora TV. Please like and subscribe. Thank you, my cameraman, Mr. Allen. I love you to the moon and back to infinity and beyond in my Buzz Lightyear's voice. All right, so let's get started. Today I have with me, y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Girl power. You hear me? Queen B herself. Hey, not Queen Fee, Queen B. Y'all hear me? Queen D. Really, it's Queen D. All right, so we're going to get started. Welcome my guest today, the beautiful Delsa Bush. Y'all show her some love. Yay!
Hi, good morning.
Good morning and welcome, Queen.
Thank you, Felicia.
Guys, I am so blessed to have this queen with me this morning. We're going to get started. The first thing I want you to tell me is, how did you get started in law enforcement? How did your career get to where you are now?
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me.
Oh, no, thank you, baby.
Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, how did I get started in law enforcement? It was quite calculated, and it started out with somewhat of a tragedy in our lives.
I'm sorry.
My mother was assaulted. She was shot.
Oh my gosh.
And it was by an abusive, boyfriend or whatever. But the incident happened in the front of all of us. That was the children. There was 5 of us present. My mom survived.
Thank God.
That particular incident. But what prompted me and gave me the idea, I was just at 13 at the time, and then I had 3 younger brothers that was with us. It was on Labor Day of 1976. So
wow.
The compassion that we were shown by the law enforcement officers that had to literally come and take custody of us, it was just stuck in my mind for like years and years. And I said, you know what? I think I want to try that. And it was the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. So the years went by. I graduated from high school. I had opportunities. I won scholarships and whatnot, and I couldn't really afford to go away to college. So
right.
Palm Beach State College was where I came and where I used the scholarships. And I studied criminal justice. And then, of course, as soon as I graduated with my degree, I started to seek employment in law enforcement. And by this time, I think I was barely like 21. But the first job really that I applied for in law enforcement, I got the job, and that was with the city of West Palm Beach.
Right. Now that was as an officer, correct?
As an officer,
okay.
Yes. You have to work your way all the way up through the ranks.
Right.
Of course, which was a short time for me. In actuality, I had to go all the way from sergeant to lieutenant to captain to assistant chief, and then finally being appointed the chief of police of the city as the first female and the
black
first person of color.
Yes. I'm sorry, I had to say that because that is very important. You give me inspiration, girl. You make me feel like I'm Wonder Woman. Hey. For real. I mean, I am so proud of you. I'm going to take this opportunity and say it on TV. How proud of you I am. And I can remember when you first started coming around, and I just you didn't know it, but I used to look at you because, I believe that spirits recognize spirits. I'm heavy on that. And I used to say, this girl right here, not knowing anything about your career, I just knew you was an officer, but I admired you because, number one, you're a woman of color. And like I told you before, women of color, I feel we have to fight harder because we don't make as much as our counterparts. So we have to stand up for ourselves and say, come together and say, listen, I'm making, why are they making more money than me and this kind of stuff. Have you ever found yourself in that type of situation?
Fortunately, not so much in law enforcement because of, we're a unionized organization and salaries are basically set for everybody. What I did find difficult was as I got my first promotion, I guess a lot of people didn't think I deserved it, even though I scored number one on all of the written tests that we took, and basically number one in every promotional exam that I took. And I still thought that I didn't quite get the respect that I deserved as I took each subsequent, position.
Right.
And just also starting out, forgot to mention too, I didn't know it at the time, but as I was graduating from this institution with my graduating from the police academy, I didn't know at the time that I would also be the first African American female for the city as a whole in general.
Look at God.
So I didn't know that at the time, but yes, I had my struggles quite a bit in the early part, but then I think I gained the support of all of my colleagues and my peers and the other officers, and I didn't do that with the thought that hey, I'm African American, I got to do this. I just did my job to the best of my ability and bagged up my officers on the street, and I just really fell in love with just do your job. I knew the significance of my gender and my race, but I did not let it rule me or hinder me in accomplishing what I needed to do. And just one more thing, and also the educational aspect of it. I mean, I wanted to be, if I was going to be someone's supervisor or leader, I wanted to get the most education. I want to be the most educated.
I know that's right.
I know you can be like the smartest person in the world, but if you don't have that documented in the form of a degree or a piece of paper on that wall saying that, hey, yeah, you did this, then it kind of doesn't mean anything. So all those years that I was employed in law enforcement, I just went on and on, from getting a AA degree here at Palm Beach State to a bachelor's degree at FAU to a master's degree at Lynn, and then culminating in a PhD at Lynn University as well. So that's why the Dr. Bush.
Yes, I'm sorry, Dr. Bush.
No
but I just want to say, I'm going to say this again. See, you made a difference. I feel that you made a difference because not only are you over everything, but you've lived that life. You was out there, you know how the streets are working, you're out there. So you can relate to your officers. So that makes it, to me, all even better. That's the golden thing, because yes, you have the documents being Dr. Bush and everything, but you also was out there in the in the environment, and you know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So you understand what these officers and their challenges and disadvantages and advantages. And speaking of that, that brings me to my next question. What do you see were the challenges for you as you were an officer? What were the challenges with the community and between the community? You know where I'm going. Between the community and the officers. How did you feel that you made a difference, and what were the challenges that you saw the most?
When I started, it was a height of the crack epidemic. It seems like everybody was on drugs. There were so many shootings and killings that we were having in the city, and you know that the majority of them occurred within our African American communities and predominantly black communities. And
right,
I had to really forge a relationship with the community because people were not trusting of the police. You'd have shootings and 100 people would witness it, and nobody would talk because of the culture that you don't snitch, you don't tell.
Right.
But I had to kind of just dig in and say, hey, if nobody stands up, this stuff is not going to stop. If you sit there and you witness a 3-year-old, and this is a real incident, and I don't really like to talk too much about it, but a 3-year-old getting shot in a crossfire between 2 drug gangs, and nobody still talks. That was hard, and that was and he asked me this question just earlier. He was like, what do you wish you had accomplished while you were there that you didn't? And the one thing I think that now that, in retrospect, yeah, I would have loved to have accomplished a goal whereas the African American community trusted us more. I think that I brought a lot of that, being the face of the police department. They could talk to me, I had great mentors and people in the community that spoke to me and guided me on, hey, listen, this is what's going to happen. They're going to be marching next week and protesting. What are you doing about these shootings? People like Addie Green, Edith Bush, Priscilla Taylor, all of those women were like, mentors to me, who guided me through some of the processes that I had to go to when dealing with a specific community. And also in the Latino community as well, Spanish communities. I had friends in those places that would tell me about the culture and tell me more or less like, this is what our community expects from you and from you as a chief.
Right. Now, what cities were you an officer in? Was it just one particular city?
I started my career in West Palm Beach, and I ended that career in West Palm Beach. So West Palm Beach is the largest, of course, municipality in the county, and we have a lot of area to cover, and different diverse communities, all the way from our Soho community in the south end of the city back then till the north end of the city, the inner city, downtown, and we go all the way out to the Beeline Highway.
Oh, wow, that is large.
So we have a lot of diverse, different communities that you have to serve, and then you have to know how to deal with each community leader within those communities.
Right, and see, that's a plus for you because you have the personality. You can talk to anybody. Because seriously, you do. I told you I used to watch you when I was a young girl. I used to say, "Wow, this lady is something else." I mean, your personality stood out to me. The way you treated, you would just walk in and the whole room lights up. And I'm not just saying this. This is, I never told you that, because I was young and I had to stay in my place. But they think I'm crazy anyway, a good crazy, I guess. That's what they always say. But I've always admired you. I am so very proud of you. You have made a difference just by me. You've given me inspiration. I told you I used to watch you, and I used to say, man, this girl is Wonder Woman. I'm going to pursue my dream. Because you gave me that encouragement. You didn't even know it, but I was watching, honey. I watched so much. And my parents, God rest their soul, they adored you.
And I adored you.
Yeah. I mean, we was.
They
adored you. Oh God, I miss them so much. Especially my mother, because she ain't take to many people right away. My dad was crazy funny, so he took to everybody. But her, she'll be watching, but she loved you.
Wow, I loved her.
She did. She adored you. So what do you see? Do you see the same similarities today now that you're watching from a different view? Okay, do you see the same similarities now that you did back then when you were working? As far as like the community not trusting the police officers.
Yeah, I think due to all the high profile incidents and shootings, some justified, a lot not justified, I think it's much harder. I think it's really much harder at this particular point, being a leader of a law enforcement organization. And a lot of people don't understand that the majority of law enforcement officers go through their entire career and never even have to pull their weapons, sometimes 30 years.
Wow.
And we don't want to hurt anybody. I mean, truly, there's some bad seeds, but they are human beings, and then sometimes they're just as scared as you are, or as the incident that they're responding to. Most of us are, and if you aren't, you're a fool, because you will get yourself hurt in that way. You can't go out there trying to be Superman. So sometimes your reactions and your bodily reactions will make you do something that you normally, would not do. But I just want people to know that, a lot of us, if you're calling every cop crooked and every cop racist or whatever, well, it's so many black officers out there, all different, ethnicities and races of officers out there. We all can't have the same, harbor the same race.
That is why you are successful, because this is not a competition. And I say that all the time. This is not a competition. You be the best that you can. And you set the pavement. You set it. You did that. I'm serious. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, girl, you is all right now. You're gonna make me now. My head is already getting big, and I normally don't have a pause. But thank you for all of that. But I just like that is, West Palm Beach is my past history. I'm proud of it, but then I didn't harbor it. When it was time to go, it was time to go.
Yeah.
It wasn't a difficult transition for me. I stayed. I did some of the things that I wanted to do. I stayed retired for like 7 years. I took the opportunity to do something that I never did for my own children, which was keep my first grandbaby for like the first 2 years of his life.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So that was like, I just felt that was redemption for me, because while I was at the police department, all I was doing is, taking them to daycare and, trying to struggle through work, worrying about
them, that's right.
Yeah, you know the deal. You're a mom. So,
of course.
So I felt that was some redemption. And then I get a call about this job, and I was kind of hesitant because, I retired early. I don't think I look 100 yet, but
no, girl, you look good, child. Especially all what you've been through.
Oh yeah,
really.
So I was asked. I took this position, and I am so proud that I did, because it brings me full circle. You see, I started here. This is where
that's God. That's all God.
Now I'm back, and I can end it at this point. When this is over with, this is over with for me, and then I'm going to start checking off that bucket list. But during this time, I've had the honor and the privilege to work under the tenure of two very, very phenomenal women. And I would have to say shout outs to Lois Frankel, who was the mayor at the time, and who appointed me to the position of chief. Yes. And now a U.S. Congresswoman knows we still talk.
Ain't that amazing?
She still thinks she has the privilege to yell. Yell at me.
Well, actually, she does.
Being a congressman. And then, second, but certainly not least, our president, Ava Parker here. Phenomenal lady. Under her leadership of this college and her cabinet's leadership, they just make the job really easy for you. They give you the autonomy to make the tough decisions, and also they are very supportive. You feel like your opinion and your input into Palm Beach State College matters absolutely. And I've made quite a few changes since I've been here to bring this up. And when I think about it, I think I'm the first female and the first
look at this first woman of color of everything. That's amazing. See, that ought to tell you something.
Maybe. Well, I hope they like me, but it makes a difference when you have leadership straight from the top.
It makes a lot of difference.
Yes, and my roles are very heavy roles in leadership. As a police chief, of course, you have that. You can summarily you can take someone's life with that kind of power. So being the chief of all that, you don't want to do that. But to have that power and that leadership, and for the mayor at the time to, give you the autonomy, Chief Bush, what you think. How do you think it works? The same thing here at this college.
Right.
The president can confide in me. I can confide in her, and we just make it great here. So this brings me full circle, and I'm ready to
wrap it up.
Wrap it up when I leave here.
Yeah.
And leave it to some people. I think let some youth and vitality come into these positions and make the place even better.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now this will probably be the last question. Wrapped up into one. What is exactly your job here, and where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I know you told me about the bucket list. How would you like to see this job change the law enforcement and stuff like that?
Okay. Yeah. As for this particular job, I am the director of campus safety for the whole district. So we have 5 campuses throughout the county, all the way to Belglade, Boca, Palm Beach Gardens, Loxahatchee Groves, and of course this is the main campus. And then we also have a historic building in downtown West Palm Beach. So I basically direct all of the campus safety officers. There are quite a few of those. And then I also have the job of being director of risk management for the college, as well as health and safety. So it's a job not to be taken lightly. But I enjoy it. It gives me a purpose, every day to do something.
To make a difference.
To make a difference.
Yes.
And in the last 5 years, in the next 5 years, I would love to stay, but I really, think it's getting, that, time for me so I can enjoy some of the life that I'm not a big person like everybody goes, oh, I want to travel. I'm not. I'm just like kind of a homebody.
Yeah.
Me
too.
My perfect day is being with cooking Sunday dinner for my grandchildren and having those 2 little, a 10-year-old and a 15-month-old, come and tear up my house and have my family over.
That's beautiful. That's priceless.
Yeah, I know. And have
That's
my
priceless.
sister come and criticize my cooking. That she can cook.
How is she, by the way?
Both of them are fine.
Tell them myself. That's priceless.
And I tell my sister, you may not like my cooking, but I like yours even less. So, Risa, stop me.
That's funny. I love that.
Too funny. But it just, I guess just one more thing that, I think is important to know. You said, some of the memorable things that, it seems like, I've had more, thank God, more ups than downs, but I've had some downs, within my career, in law enforcement, just in life in general. I think you can remember way back then in the late 80s, I was, dating someone that we were just on the verge of being engaged in, and he was killed in the line of duty.
Oh my gosh.
That.
I vaguely remember that now.
And that was like shortly, I met Tony shortly after that. So, and then of course losing Tony to the whole deal. So you have your tragedies, but it's hard, but you just have to keep moving from those tragedies swipe you. You have to keep, now don't get me wrong, we may have been divorced, but
no, the love was still there.
Yeah, it was still there.
And we were hoping that you two, honestly, you might have didn't know this, but we were hoping that you two would reconcile. We were.
I know.
Okay,
but it is what
but
it
God
is.
is good, and He helped us through that. But with that being said, to God be the glory, guys. You have the beauty and the brains, Lady D, Queen D, Miss Delsa Bush, Dr. Bush, excuse me. Thank you so much, my love, for this interview. This is one of the interviews of the century to me. Thank you so very much. I love you endlessly. You will always be a part of our family. You never left.
All right.
We love you. God bless everybody. Thank you, Diaspo TV. Thank you, Mr. Allens. God bless. Mwah. Blessings. Mwah. Blessings.